I can bring you in warm, or I can bring you in cold.
The question has been raised, what is the best Hot Toys Mando out and about? At least right now until the chrome one shows up. And the quarter scale has just arrived in the studio. And I've been having a lot of fun with this thing, kind of messing around with it. And the amount of accessories is quite ridiculous. This Diorama Base is unbelievable. So I'm very excited for those of you who picked up this to get the Diorama Base, because it's crazy. And what I mean by crazy, one of the things automatically I'm just really not a big fan of, hate to start it off that way, but I got to, is honestly where the batteries go in this thing. It's kind of ridiculous. So as this thing kind of floats around, underneath this base on the side with the other helmet is a port under there with a screw, and you're supposed to undo that and put 3 AAA batteries in there. It's freaking tiny. And I just don't like that. Other than that, I'm pretty good with the base. But look at this Beskar detailing on this base. It is absolutely unbelievable. As you see the light bouncing off, we've got an IG unit right there that has been absolutely destroyed. And I mean, this is just the base. It's like there's the little grid pattern that we're used to seeing with Star Wars figures. So the metallic paint, the dirt, the grime, and look at this helmet. Look at this helmet. Absolutely. Now, that is a 100% copy of the Mando helmet that's actually on the figure, and it's just painted a lot differently. But if we scroll up, we're going to tilt this bad boy up as we got our Mando up here. It is absolutely unbelievably gorgeous, and I am super happy to have him in the collection after, honestly, it doesn't feel like it's been that long, but he does look quite fantastic. I mean, look at that. Come on, guys. Come on. I know some of you guys are going to say, well, I wish it had the chrome paint. Well, I do too, honestly. I wish it had the chrome paint, but it doesn't. Okay? It just doesn't. So I'm not going to gripe on that too much, because honestly, the paint that it does have is done very well. We get a quarter scale Grogu, which is awesome. Finally, with some cloth goods and not that sculpted plastic stuff that we see on the 6 scale, because honestly, that was kind of a letdown. The tailoring on this thing is unbelievable. The stitching, I mean, just everything about this figure. For the price point, it's going to cost you a couple 6 scale figures to get the quarter scale figure. For the price point, I think they knocked it out of the park. The amount of accessories are crazy. The paint applications are crazy. I think the paint applications on the armor are very, very similar to the 6 scale. I just think they used a little bit better materials on the fabric. But this guy is absolutely just freaking. I mean, look at this. Look at that. Just just gorgeous. So just a simple pose for you guys. Honestly, just sitting there standing, holding Grogu. He's got his pistol blaster in his right hand. He's got the rifle in the back hand. We'll take a look at some more details on this figure and accessories and all that kind of stuff. But I just kind of want to give you my first impressions after just kind of getting posed up here. I am being brave and being quarter scale and having him up there without a stand. It does come with a crotch grabber if you have the Thanos, kind of similar style to that. But shelf presence, oh yeah. All right, let's take a look at some of the accessories this guy comes with, and we'll start off with honestly one of the best ones, which is this Grogu. It's quite fantastic, honestly, guys. So we got the previous 6 scale versions where he had this plastic garb all over him, and it doesn't look all that fantastic. He doesn't move, but in the quarter scale version, which you can buy individually if you want to, he actually moves, and he's got some cool, swap out heads. You got some different expressions if you want to go that route. So that's kind of cool. You got this more somber, happy. I'm not sure what to call this expression. It's just the normal Grogu expression, I guess. And then you've got this one, which is a more shocked one, and you can change out the ears, which is kind of cool because you can have one going up, one going down. It's got some switch out ears, and it's kind of nice. There's no hair or anything on there, so it's not like the life size version. But I don't know this really necessary. If you've had the Hot Toys Yoda, then you know how that stuff really doesn't really stay on there that well anyway. So I'm okay with that. But having the fabric covering for him instead of that hard plastic is quite nice. It is quite nice. And it's very similar, and it's got like the yellowing paint applications like the life-size one had. So it's pretty much the same material as far as I can tell. And yeah, so there we go. So honestly, I like this one better than the life-size one because it'll actually stand and just, I don't know, there's just something about it I like better. Maybe it's the different expressions. I don't know. The life-size one didn't really impress me all that much, but this one's cool. So it does have some articulation, some range of motion underneath. You can see there's a Grogu bottom. We've got a joint here, a ball joint here. We can kind of go back and forth with that. Ball joint there on the feet, which are painted okay. And then on the arm, which is actually pretty genius, it's just a 6 scale wrist peg. That's all that is. So you can change out the hands. So you've got a couple different hands. If you want, you can use this one, which you can actually have him holding this tiniest of shifter knobs, which is quite tiny. It's tiniest of shifter knobs. You got some like force using hands if you want to use these. It's actually pretty nicely done. But the paint applications are sufficient for figure of this scale. This nice red and blush tone going on the inside of the palm. Fingernails are painted nicely, and it looks pretty good. So I like this accessory very much, and you can get this one individually, without the actual quarter scale Mando if you want. If you just want this figure, so you can do that. So if you like Grogu's and you collect them, I would recommend this. I think it's better than the previous versions we've gotten so far. So there's the hands. With Mando, we actually get a vibro blade, which is actually very, very well painted. It's very, very cool, and I like it a lot. You see like the weathering going on. Nice little patina on the blade, which I guess is supposed to emulate Beskar, but it doesn't really have that Beskar pattern, so I'm not sure. Maybe it's just rust, I guess. I don't know. But very nicely done on that front. You do have also this and I just knocked something off. Oh, that was my my shifter knob just rolled off the table, so that's awesome. But you do have this like spear. And honestly, there's a 0% chance of me using this. It is metal, and it's stiff, and it's not going anywhere. But there's about a 0% chance of me using this because it just doesn't have any shelf presence. But it's nicely done. I just don't see me ever using that. It does have a flame effect, which is very, very well done. And I kind of dig this one. It's large, though. It's quarter scale. It's huge. Nice little yellowing. You can see the light kind of bounces through this thing, and it has blue, purplish towards the tip. And that looks pretty good as well. I dig that. This is something I might actually use. So that's kind of cool. Moving on, we got a flashlight that goes on the side of his helmet. 0% chance of me using this because I don't want to mess with batteries on the figure. It's not an Iron Man. I don't, but it's, whatever. We got his tracking fob, which is cool. And like on the braided metal section here, it almost looks like rust. Almost looks like rust, and I really kind of dig that. We get a little slab of Beskar, which is not as nicely painted as the actual Diorama Base. I don't know why. They totally could have gone with a more chrome-ish effect with this, but there it is. It's just an upscale version of one we already got. We got to swap out for some Whistling Birds. If you want to use these, I can definitely say these would be pretty cool. Although it doesn't come with that that Whistling Birds effect that we saw with the Deluxe Mando, the 6-scale one. That would have been kind of crazy too, but whatever. We got his iconic pistol blaster right here, and this is very, very well done. You can see like the wood grain on the stock, on the handle there, and you see like even the trigger has got some brass, copperish colors going on with it, and they took a lot of detail with this, so I'm a big fan of this thing. There's no moving parts, but it does look very, very well made. And then it's got his Ambient Rifle. This is freaking enormous. I mean, if you have the 6-scale one, then it's just, quarter scale version of that. It's huge. But you can see like the detail on the middle section here, and the chamber actually opens up just like the 6-scale version. If you want to do that, you can open that up and put one of those cartridges in if you want. Nice weathering all the way throughout, and it is just absolutely huge. Absolutely huge. The stock is nicely painted, so that's a nice feature right there. And then honestly, the other cool thing is, other than the paint applications, this scope actually comes off if you want to use that, just like the 6-scale version. The strap, if you guys have had the 6-scale version, know that this thing is as flimsy can be. It's plasticky, and you're afraid you're going to break it. But this one is made of a nicer material. It feels more durable, so I don't think that's going to be a problem. It's definitely a thicker, leathery material more than plastic. And then, let's see if I can get this thing to go this way. Instead of that stupid button peg, we have magnets. So magnets actually this is so much better and a better design than the previous version we got of this. But I freaking like this. Jetpack wise, it looks almost just exactly like the previous jetpack we got. So don't have any complaints about this. It's got magnets on the back, nice little felt material here so you don't damage your figure, scratch your figure. And I think this is actually very well done. It doesn't have any blast effects. Like, that would have been cool. But it doesn't come with any of that. We get flamethrower, but we don't get any blast effects. And that would have been kind of a nice feature. Even though, I mean, realistically, as much as this figure weighs, getting it in a flight pose in the air is nigh impossible. But that's kind of cool as well. Going back to Grogu for a second, it does come with this little satchel that is a different color than the 6-scale one that we saw with the Scout Trooper. This is a much darker version. I've got the 6-scale version right here. Yep, there we go. So here's the 6-scale version that comes with the Scout Trooper. I mean, different bags, but you can see like the difference in colorations. This is more of a yellowish tan, mustardy color versus this. And very nicely done, although the inside is a bit unfinished. I don't understand why I don't know, it's just kind of weird. But it's nice. Got some nice detail on it. It's not bad. The last but not least is this Pram, if I can get this over here. And it took me a minute to figure out how to get this cover off. In the instructions, it says to squeeze the sides of this and it pops off. The first time I did that, I thought I was going to break the thing. And so that kind of sucked, but I was able to get it off. There's the inside of it. You kind of see that. But the inside paint applications on this Pram are freaking awesome. They did a really good job with this, even with like the metallic paints. They gave us this red, this nice little textured. It almost looks like this section here, this paint looks like the garage floor coatings that people have. It kind of looks like that speckling going on there. It's kind of nice. And around the side, we get some weathering. I mean, it's not over the top weathering, but I think the note that I really take away from this is this pearlescent paint that I've got in here. You can see like the light bouncing off of it. It's not metallic at all. It's definitely pearlescent, and it is gorgeous. With the orange and the weathering and everything about that, I think it looks pretty stinking cool. And then you get this little blanket, which is honestly super cheap. This is like this is just, I don't know, it's a piece of fabric. It really doesn't do anything all that great. All right, so let's talk about range of motion on this guy, because it's quarter scale, which means ratchets. Lots of ratchets, and it's fantastic, and I'm a big fan of ratchets on figures. So let's just kind of take a look. The tailoring on this thing is unbelievable. Really big fan of this. There was one accessory I don't think I mentioned, which was this little detonator device, but honestly, I've got it on that hook, and it's kind of a pain in the butt to get on there, so I didn't really want to mess with taking it off. But there you go. It's got removable cartridges, just like we saw with the 6-scale figure. Essentially, 6-scale figure greatly improved by the joints. No fat suit issues with this whatsoever because of the ratchets. And honestly, if they put ratchets in the 6-scale version, oh man, if they put them in the upcoming Chrome version of this, the ratchets, that's gonna be insane. Regardless of that. Pretty cool feature, actually. The ball joint on the head, you can do pretty much whatever you want with that. But the Diorama Base comes with this helmet that's like part of the base. And it's identical. It's just a repaint of the helmet that's actually on the figure. And the connection is exactly the same. So you can actually put this helmet on this body, if you so choose. Just like that. It just kind of pegs right on there. Now, I don't think it looks like amazing on there, but if you wanted to, you could swap those out. It's got some nice blue coloring to it. I'm going to put that one back on there because honestly, it looks a little better like this. And yeah, that's pretty much that. Pretty cool. Ratcheted joints. Check this out. I mean, you can go way the heck up there with this thing. It's pretty crazy. So holding the Ambient Rifle up high is not going to be a problem. You got ratchets in the elbows as well. They are double bent on the elbow. Although I gotta say, the fabric and the padding in there is going to get a little bit of, I mean, you're not going to get a crazy Spider-Man, 20-degree bend or anything like that. But it does do the job for that. One thing I really don't like, I throw this out there, is I'm not a big fan of this. These magnets in the back, they suck. They're super weak, and they're too small to do the job. So eventually I expect these to actually fall off, and I'll just glue on stronger magnets because these are they're just weak. So there's that. Double bend on the knee. Pretty much do whatever you want. Normal ball joint on the feet, and the hips have joints or ratchets. I mean, you can do, look at this. Crazy. And there's even a ratchet in the torso. If I can do this without trying to break anything here, guys. It's ratchet in short torso. You can go down. You can go this way. And you can go side to side. You can hear the ratchets kind of pop in there. So pretty cool all the way around, range of motion wise. It's very sturdy. I don't have any like weak ankles. I don't think it's going to fall over or anything. It's just quite, it's just really stinking good. I honestly think the only thing that could have made this even better would have been if we had the chrome variant paint on this armor instead of this paint job. I don't hate this paint job at all. Like this, if you saw the 6-scale figure for 2020, that Deluxe Mando was figure of the year for me. So I clearly liked that one. The chrome variant would have just like knocked it up another level. But it's freaking awesome. Just saying, bring on more quarter scale stuff. I'm in. I like it a lot. Honestly, I'm going to spoil the video right now, but I thought it would be really difficult to top the Vader. This has topped the Vader for me. It is freaking glorious. So we've got this thing kind of spinning around for a little bit. Hope you guys are looking forward to this video as much as I am. But there he is. There's our quarter scale Mando. And right off the bat, it is just beautiful. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say, well, where is the chrome paint? And I'm with you on that. I think I would have liked to see the chrome paint on this, but we could talk about that a little bit later. I definitely would have liked them seeing that. But what they did give us is absolutely just freaking phenomenal. So I guess we'll start off with this Diorama Base that we got, because honestly, I don't know what else you would want out of a base. It's beautifully painted. It has light up features. It has like nostalgia feels in it with the IG-11. And check out, I guess we'll just first take a look at this helmet. Look at the paint applications on this helmet that's actually as part of the Diorama Base. It is crazy cool. And then we get this Beskar stuff going on in the front. Then we got an IG unit with a light up function on it, which I will be quite honest with you guys, putting the batteries in this thing were not the most fun. The panel for the batteries is underneath underneath where the helmet is. And they give you one of those tiny little Iron Man screwdrivers that I freaking hate. But it does have a light up function. It is more of an amber gold color under there. It's plenty bright for its purposes. I don't think there's a problem with that. And then we have this, the IG unit that's kind of lit up, and it's just freaking awesome. Paint applications on the base. Again, the detail, you can see kind of like the weathering and the that's going on with that. Got some rock formations, which actually look pretty good. They look better than other rock stuff we've seen with other figures. And I'm going to stop this thing if I can. Boom, we actually made it stop. I want to take a look at this this placard, if we can, for just a second, and just admire the detail that they've given us with the Beskar-like front, the Mythosaur, which is honestly has the chrome paint that probably should have been on the armor. I don't know, but it definitely stands out. And as you scroll down here, you see it just says the Mandalorian down at the bottom. Then we've got over here, we've got this IG unit, which is honestly just quite fantastic. And it does spin around just like the IG unit that we have in 6 scale. The head spins around, the eyes and all that kind of stuff. It spins around. Paint applications are on point, just like the 6 scale version. And this one's actually been exploded. So he's actually had his self-destruct go off, and it just looks fantastic. And I know a lot of people are going to say, well, I don't have room for this giant diorama base. And I totally understand it. I understand where you're coming from, but I would get it. Because honestly, it makes the figure just look that much awesome on the display shelf. And, we'll kind of talk more about that. It's glorious. Now, the figure itself, as we kind of get into this thing, the materials they use on this figure are nicer or more, I don't say more, they're better quality. They're better quality. I guess we'll go with that. They're better quality than we saw on the 6 scale. They're upscaled very nicely. The pleather plastic materials you saw on the 6 scale version on here are more supple, I guess. I'll go with that. Supple might be a word for it. But check this out. It just absolutely, everything about this, I know I'm spoiling it and letting you know that I really, really like this thing. But I do. And I don't think, and just talking about this for a second, I don't think not having, that missing the chrome-esque on the Beskar armor, that paint that we're getting on the 6 scale deluxe one coming up very soon, I don't think it is a big enough miss to not get this figure. I just think it's quite fantastic. So I'm going to get this thing kind of spinning again, because there's a couple things I wanted to talk about before we get into some of the more posing stuff. So one of the things being the Mythosaur, or the Mudhorn that's on his right pauldron there. That thing is freaking cool too. It's very it stands out a lot. The tailoring on the flight suit is on point. The paint on the armor is fantastic. And then the buckles on the actual or the pleathery material on the belt is just next level awesome. I don't really think there's anything I found that I can fault about this other than with the battery placement of the light up feature. I really don't think that. Grogu looks fantastic. And then we've got this these buckles and the belts and everything. I mean, just look at the detail they've put on this. It is phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. So big fan about this. It does have a light up function if you want to add the flashlight. The on his right part of his helmet. I will not be adding that because that's not a feature I would use. So I'm not going to bother with that. Some other people might. The Grogu looks fantastic. This thigh armor right here, I mean, you can see right here the level of detail and the paint applications they've got going on this thigh armor that he got from Zero or Q0 from that one prison break scene, episode back in season 2, I think. And this is just fantastic. Just everything about this. Look at this. The colorations, it's just great. So I'm going to go ahead and throw this in a couple poses. We'll talk about some of the accessories, but I will tell you, it looks straight off the screen and it is freaking beautiful. All right, guys, I've changed up the pose and I've added even more stuff to this diorama base that wasn't on there before. Added the Eweb Cannon and I added Grogu's Pram, which exponentially increases the real estate this thing takes up. And but honestly, it makes it look even better. In my opinion. It's just my opinion. You can like it, hate it, whatever. It's definitely going to take up some real estate. It is quite fantastic. And posing a quarter scale figure, if you guys have not had any experience with a quarter scale figure before, it takes a little bit more time. Honestly, the ratcheted everything, ratcheted hips, knees, elbows, shoulders, everything about it ratcheted. It is awesome because it'll support the weight of a quarter scale figure. But at the same time, it's one of those things you just got to work with because you don't want to. You're not going to get a pose in between the clicks, if you understand what I'm talking about. The Pram, I think, looks quite fantastic. Honestly, I'm a big fan of that one. It's what's the word for it? It's weathered nicely, but not over the top weathered. Like, I feel like it could have some more weathering and some more darker, dingy colors. I think would be pretty cool. That would match the base a little bit. But it's not. I'm not knocking it for that. I just think that would be an extra thing they could do with this. The Eweb Cannon is freaking huge. I mean, you can see it here. The size of it goes down into that base and goes all the way up to past Mando's elbow. It's quite ginormous. And it pegs into the back right here. That's kind of where it pegs into the back of that base. And there is two slots. It kind of slots in right there. And it's quite large. It's quite large, as there's Grogu kind of spinning around. But I really, and you guys can let me know what you think about this pose. It's a fun one, I think. But we'll go ahead. We'll pause this up and we'll kind of take a look at some of these details on the base. All right, pause this guy up. Let's just take a look at some of the details on here because I think it's important to note when posing a quarter scale figure and just having fun with those ratchets. One of the things I was very happy to have ratcheted shoulders on is you can actually get the arm straight out, ratcheted, holding the blaster, and have zero problems. Zero. It'll actually go higher than that. For this pose, I thought it looked better a little lower. His arm will actually go up quite a bit, which is nice, which you don't have to fight with like that fat suit we saw in the 6 scale version. So that's kind of a nice thing. The weathering on the weapons is just unbelievable. Moving over to Grogu and his Pram. I think they nailed it. Again, I think a little bit more weathering would have been okay. I don't really have too much problem with it. I like the interchangeable ears, and you get 2 head sculpts with this one. And above all that, the fabric, soft goods, that he doesn't have that like plasticky, gown, I guess, if you will. Doesn't have that anymore. This is actual fabric. Such a step up. I mean, they really should have done that with the 6 scale version, I feel like. I don't know how cost prohibitive that was, but that would have made the 6 scale versions even better. And I think even like the Grogu creature pack or thing they're coming out with, if they were to kick that one up a notch, I think they'd sell a lot of them if they added a fabric garment like this, which I definitely think they should. Interesting note, the boots, again, just tailoring was on there. The colorations on them are quite beautiful. One of the things I will kind of, this detonator, there's a hook on the actual belt for that detonator to go on. Complete nightmare to get on. I got to be honest with you guys. That was a thing, and I need to push those cartridges back down. But you can see like the tailoring and the colorations and the textures and just everything to go on with this figure is just... It's just fantastic, man. If this was 6 scale, I would say figure of the year, but I'm not sure it's fair to have a quarter scale piece such as this, even in the runnings for figure of the year. But you guys can let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. But I really... I'm having fun with this. We'll do a couple more poses, have some fun with this thing. I thought somebody might ask the question, can you put the other helmet that's on the base on the figure? And the answer is, well, yes, you can. It's the exact same mold, same neck peg, which is not really a neck at all. And you can absolutely put the diorama helmet that's on the base on the actual figure. And honestly, it looks pretty good. It's not, it's not obviously meant for it, but, it's not terrible. I would love to have a 6 scale version of whatever paint job they've got going on with this one. As you can see right here, doesn't really match, but it's kind of cool that, do you need to buy 2 of these to make, nah, that would be crazy, right? All right, guys, we changed up the pose and just wanted to give an idea to somebody if they did not want the height of the Mando standing on top of the base. Maybe you just wanted them sitting on the base. You wanted to include the Diorama Base, but not take up all that real estate vertically. You could do something like this. So it did take a minute. It did take, I'm not sure 100% nailed it, but I think I came pretty close to nailing it. But here's Mando. He's kind of, he's got his Ambient Rifle in his right hand. He's got Grogu in his left. And as we kind of pan this thing out, you can kind of see kind of what we're dealing with here. So a lot of fun with this one. Actually, it just took a minute to accomplish, honestly. It's really what it did. So I threw on the little satchel on there just for, just to have fun. I got his blaster pistol on there as well. And I think this works if you wanted to have something that just didn't take up all that vertical real estate space in your collection, just depending on where you want to display this. I'm going to have mine tall and, just some kind of, maybe something similar to what we saw already, probably more dynamic for me. And probably include the Pram, because I think that it adds something to the base, but I can appreciate somebody if they just don't have that kind of real estate to display it. But a little sentimental moment of Din Djarin and Grogu right there. And I think it looks pretty good. So let's do another one. So this next pose, guys, I wanted to give you an idea of scale, if I could. And we'll do another one for scale. But just for fun, because, I don't know, I like having fun with my figures and posing. So I think this would be a fun display option for your quarter scale Mando, if you don't mind crossing universes. So there's our quarter scale Mando with our 6 scale Ant-Man, who was just turned him into Giant Mando. So Giant Mando, it's almost like Giant Man, but now we got Giant Mando. And I think that sometimes I have way too much fun with these things. And there's our 6 scale Grogu down there on the bottom for reference. He's freaking tiny, right? So one thing about the Mando that I will complain about this, and I complained about it on the 6 scale version as well. The way the rifle connects back here, these magnets that are supposed to connect this part right here, those magnets are too freaking small and too freaking weak, and they're just useless. They just really are. That's just funny. So, that's been my only gripe messing with that. The backpack magnets are strong. They're strong enough to hold, so I don't have too much issue with that. But the rifle strap there is definitely not strong enough. The magnets are just weak, and that's kind of annoying. But this is kind of fun, guys. So we'll break out the actual other 6 scale Mando and see a little size comparison, maybe give you some thoughts. Some of you may know that I have the quarter scale XM Studios Boba Fett statue because it is freaking glorious. I did a video on it way back when, and I was thinking about picking up the quarter scale Fett hot toy, and I still might. I saw it down in Orlando. I was on vacation, but honestly, this statue is just so unbelievable that I don't know why. I don't know. I'm undecided. You guys can let me know in the comment section down below. But the XM Studios Boba Fett statue is just freaking believable. As you can see right here, it's got a bunch of switch outs and whatever. But I plan on kind of posing these two up together. I'm not sure what final pose I'm going to end up with the quarter scale Mando because I'm still working on this video. But these two side by side look quite fantastic. So I've got, for those curious, I've got our Mando over there, kind of hold Grogu. He's got his rifle on his back. I moved the Eweb Cannon over to the side. It does have 2 pegs on the base you can put there, but I just kind of moved it over to the side to give Mando some leg room. We got our light up on our IG unit going on right there. And then over here is our Fett quarter scale XM Studios piece, and it's all kinds of amazing. It really is. It's quite fantastic. So, final thoughts on this guy. I think you guys can probably tell I'm quite excited for it. I'm pretty happy with it. I think it's a must-have if you've got the real estate for it, and if it fits in your budget. This is a must-have figure. Like I said, the only thing I would change, honestly, would be the chrome paint. But I think it looks fantastic the way it is. I love the ratchet joints, love everything about the quarter scale. The accessories are fantastic. Grogu looks fantastic. The Diorama Base, if you get the deluxe, unbelievable. And I like everything about it. So hope you guys like this video. I know it's probably a little longer, and but it's worth it. I think it's pretty good. Subscribe if you haven't already done that. Join the Facebook group. There's a link down below for that, Jedha Patrol. And if you want to support the channel on Patreon, that would be amazing. We do 6 scale giveaways every month. We have Zoom meetups, posing sessions, all kinds of stuff, and you get into a secret, super secret access Facebook group, which is awesome. So yeah, check that out for links in the description below as well. Thanks to Pop Collectibles for getting this shipped to me super fast. If you want day 1 releases and you don't want to wait months and months and months for your stuff, check out Pop Collectibles on Instagram and on our website. Link in the description below. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video, because I've got to figure out where in the world I'm going to put this guy and, you know, what pose he's going to be in. So I got to decide that. You guys can let me know your thoughts on this figure in the comment section down below. As always, click what you like. See you next time. I know one of them was with him like holding the cannon, so shit.